This is CBC Vancouver News.
Back to school with staggered schedules.
We have to deal with space in Surrey. We know that, and this is the plan.
How Surrey plans to tackle overcrowding as thousands of students return to the classrooms. Also, walking off the job.
We are not paid for what our worth is.
It was very difficult for us to make that decision.
As Handy-Dart transit workers head to the picket lines, some of those relying on the service are left looking for alternatives. And a political shakeup. More on who's in and who's out as candidates for the BC Conservatives. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Baneet Braich. Well, thousands of students are now heading back to classrooms in BC, but for many in Surrey, there's a new approach to the school year. As Yasmin Ghanea reports, some schools are trying a staggered schedule to tackle overcrowding.
New school year, new start times.
My school day actually, fortunately, starts at 9:30 compared to the 8:30 from last year. That will improve my attendance by quite a bit because I'm not an early bird.
Students at Surrey's most crowded high schools now on a staggered class schedule. Some families adapting to an 8 o'clock start.
Like my son, we have no car. He need to go walking and then go back home to the school and to the house. That's why, and I'm working.
Schools will now have an extra fifth period. Some of the students will attend periods 1 through 4, others 2 through 5, or the first and last 2 blocks of the day. Surrey Schools acknowledges the new schedule is not ideal, but as schools at BC's largest districts struggle with overcapacity, it has to look for creative solutions.
We have to deal with space in Surrey. We know that, and this is the plan. So we're moving forward on that. We really can maximize our space now. We have a fifth period, so we can push a lot of classes into that period. That spreads our student body out, so it's not as busy in the halls, it's not as busy in the classroom.
The plan expected to come with some growing pains as parents, students, and school staff adjust.
For me, I feel like our school has done a really good job accommodating the needs of our staff and our students based on the different extended day schedule. I'm on the later shift and that was accommodated to bring my kids to daycare.
Surrey Schools expects the schedule changes will increase school capacity by 10 to 15%. Yasmin Ghanea, CBC News, Surrey.
And as students gear up with backpacks, school supplies, and more, the BC Green Party is rolling out its education platform. The party is proposing a plan for all students. It includes a permanent universal food program, mental health supports, and technology access.
From kindergarten to graduation, education unlocks opportunity. We will make sure that opportunity for all kids in British Columbia is equal. This means the tools, the healthy environment, and the nourishment are all there for kids when they need it.
Now, this comes as a poll by United Way says 1 in 6 British Columbians don't get enough to eat. And earlier this year, the federal government did announce a national school food program. It's a funding system to help local food programs expand. Now, the BC Greens say the total annual costs of their plan are projected at $600 million by 2029. And after BC United's collapse, shifts continue in provincial politics. Now, the BC Conservatives have dropped 4 of their candidates and welcomed in 3 BC United MLAs and several more BC United candidates. And of course, this all follows Kevin Falcon's decision to withdraw the official opposition from the provincial election campaign. Katie DeRosa joins us now from Victoria. Katie, what's the latest here?
Well, it's really a mix between a game of chess and a reality TV dating show. The BC Conservatives sent word to their candidates over the weekend about who's in and who's out. BC Conservative Campaign Director Angelo Isidoro spent the weekend calling some of the party's candidates with news that they would have to move aside for the BC United candidate. The BC Conservatives are, of course, making room for some of those orphaned BC United MLAs, such as Ian Payton, Trevor Halford, and Peter Millibar. Here's Millibar during a press conference in Kamloops.
We got to a place where we were both very comfortable and felt that this would be a very good fit in terms of thought processes and experience and bringing that depth to the table.
And Katie, the Conservatives have gotten rid of their 4 candidates so far. Tell us a little bit more about that.
That's right. The BC Conservative candidates, 4 of them have been replaced with former BC United candidates. Let's take a look at 2 ridings in particular. In Prince George Mackenzie, the Conservatives dropped Rachel Weber to make way for Kyle Giddens. Of course, Rachel Weber was under fire for previous social media comments that she had made where she said 5G cell towers are genocidal weapons. And also in Surrey White Rock and Surrey Panorama, there have been some moves. BC Conservative Ryan Tepper in one and Dupinder Saran in the other. But now BC United MLA Trevor Halford has switched to the Conservative ticket, which means that Tepper is making way for Halford, and as a result, Dupinder Saran is out. Now, Saran will run as an independent in Surrey Panorama, and she posted on social media today that the BC Conservative Party is now a Liberal Party running under the Conservative banner. I asked Isidoro about that, and he rejected that criticism.
You know, it's not ideal and it's very easy. They've just sold out and become the BC Liberals. But at the end of the day, we have our policies, we have our platform, we have our leader. All we're doing is widening the tent to allow for a team that will help defeat the NDP.
Katie, clearly a lot of changes happening here. How are other party leaders responding to these moves?
Well, Premier David Eby says, the BC Conservatives are no more moderate, and that he criticized the party for continuing to stand behind 4 candidates who have donated to the Freedom Convoy, and another candidate who made controversial comments about women who don't breastfeed and whether or not they are mothers. So that's Premier David Eby. And as for Green Party leader Sonia Furstenau, she says the Conservatives are in a state of chaos, and she slammed them for not going by the traditional candidate nomination process.
I think we're seeing a great deal of what appears to be chaos, a political party moving their contestants and their candidates around like pawns on a chessboard.
Of course, we already know that some BC United MLAs will not run again, including Shirley Bond, Todd Stone, and Jackie Taggart. And some BC United MLAs are likely to run as independents, such as Tom Shapika and Mike Bernier. So lots more developments to come.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Katie. As of today, handy dart workers in Metro Vancouver are on strike. More than 600 workers walked off the job this morning. It's a start to job action that includes cutting service down to only essential trips. Isaac Panay has the latest on the calls for action.
Jonathan Asensio says he's an active handy dart user.
Thanks to handy dart, I go to my therapies, I go to the gym, I sometimes I go with friends and they take me, and it's great. And the chauffeurs treat you with such a dignity and such a respect.
The service provides thousands of rides to people living with disabilities each day. But now, workers are on strike. Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1724 says it's cutting 80% of its service. They're only completing essential trips for cancer, dialysis, and MS appointments. That means users like Asensio will have to find another way to get around.
I will not be able to attend my sessions with my physiotherapist. I'm gonna have to cancel because my physio is in Surrey and I live in Tuasin.
It's very difficult for us to make that decision. We started with ramping up smaller job actions, hoping to get the employer to the table, but they weren't working.
McCann says workers want equal pay to nearby TransLink drivers, but says the employer, Transdev, isn't offering high enough wages. They're also looking for stronger protections against Transdev contracting out work to taxis.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line!
More than 300 people rallied outside Pacific Central Station Tuesday morning in support of striking handy dart workers. Transdev and the Handy Dart Union have been in talks for a new contract since last November. Last month, Transdev sent the union its final offer. 83% of members voted it down.
We feel that we live in a very high cost of living area and we are not paid for what our worth is. So we're just hoping to bridge that gap.
Transdev says they contacted the BC Labour Relations Board. It says it is meeting with the union and a mediator on Sunday. It apologizes for the disruption in service. Back at the rally, Asensio says he's in solidarity with the drivers.
It makes no sense that they don't want to pay a little bit more to the chauffeurs, that they do such a good job.
The union says the strike will continue through the weekend. Isaac Ponne, CBC News, Vancouver.
In Kelowna, fruit farmers rallied for the fourth time to protest the closure of the BC Tree Fruits Cooperative. The board of directors closed the almost 90-year-old co-op this summer. Now, court documents show the organization has more than $50 million in indebted loans. And last month, a BC Supreme Court judge ordered the sale of the co-op's assets. But an Osoyoos farmer says she believes that government intervention can save the group.
Because we've had a couple of bad years doesn't mean to close our doors. We've been around for 9 decades, and we're hoping the government steps in to give us some money and put it back on a term and condition plan that we can come back into operational. It will save 500 families.
The province has not committed to saving the group, but says it will help farmers find a place to ship their fruit this year. The farmers say they will take their protest to Victoria next. On Vancouver Island, police are investigating after gunshots were fired into the home of Punjabi singer AP Dhillon. As Georgie Smythe reports, one key piece of evidence is a dramatic video that appears to have been filmed by the attacker.
The video has scorched its way across the internet. An attacker using a phone and a gun outside a house on the outskirts of Victoria as 2 cars burn in the driveway. CBC News has not been able to verify the origin of the video or its authenticity, but police confirm it is part of their investigation into this brazen and targeted attack. The owner of the home is rising music sensation AP Dhillon, who recently signed a major record deal. A hugely popular Indo-Canadian producer and rapper, he last year became the first Punjabi act to perform at the Junos.
Finally, this brown skin is getting recognized.
After the attack, he reached out to his millions of fans on Instagram saying, "I'm safe, my people are safe. Thank you to everyone who reached out. Your support means everything." The musician later shared a video of himself singing with the message, "Keep spreading love." In the daylight after the attack, neighbours described what they saw.
We went to the kitchen window and I could see flames underneath the truck, and they were starting to catch the truck on fire. I called 911 right away and told them that there had been multi-shots.
The extent of the damage plain to see, over a dozen bullet holes and debris scattered around the front of his house. Media in India have connected the attack to Indian gangsters.
And a gang, in fact, which is already infamous for these attacks on celebrities, has taken responsibility.
But in Canada, RCMP say it's far too early to say who is behind the shooting and what their motivations could be. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
And in Kamloops, first responders are searching the Thompson River for one of 2 people reported to have gone into the water early Tuesday morning. As Jennifer Norwell reports, crews scrambled to get to the scene and are warning that calm waters can be deceiving.
Kamloops Fire Rescue were called down to Riverside Park in Kamloops, British Columbia, just before 7 a.m. this morning. There were reports of 2 men in the water calling for help. When the boat crew arrived, they discovered 1 man floating in the water.
Found 1 gentleman in the water, just about 200 meters west of the Overlander Bridge. And we've got him in the boat, and then we proceeded to try and find the other person. Apparently there's still 1 person left in the water. So we've been looking for that person and haven't found them yet.
What can you tell me about the condition of the person that you did find?
The person that we did find was pretty close to going under. He was extremely exhausted, cold. He was floating on his back for quite a while, it sounds like. We did find an overturned canoe that they were using to cross the river. I'm not sure what happened and why they aren't in the canoe at some point, but he was lucky that we were there at that time.
So this is scary, like this was close.
Yeah, very close. The water is cold, and I think it takes people by surprise how cold it is, and it makes it really difficult to swim and stay calm in that kind of conditions.
Kamloops Fire Rescue say they continue to search for the other man who is yet to be located. They were able to recover a small green kayak that is believed to be the craft that the two men were traveling in. They're not sure what would have resulted in this craft flipping over, but at this point, they are still searching to see if they can find the other person. Kamloops Search and Rescue have also been called in along with police and helicopter crews. At this point, no rescue has been successful, but they are continuing to look. This is not the first incident along the river this year. Earlier this year, a man was swept away out by the Tournament Capital Ranch, a little bit further outside of town. His body has yet to be recovered, and there continues to be searches. There was one this weekend looking for something that might indicate his whereabouts, but that man has not been recovered either. Jennifer Norwell, CBC News, Kamloops.
And Canada's second Paralympic gold medal of 2024 is coming home. After the break, we'll round up big moments from Canadian athletes. Well, with back to school season here, it can also bring pressures of the latest trends, gadgets, and styles. Here's how some students feel about all that.
Pricey makeup, puffer jackets, and a ton of different water tumblers. These are just some trends that teenagers are following nowadays. For some, they're fun, but for others, they're exhausting. We went to downtown Vancouver to talk to some students. Here's what they had to say. What kind of trends are you following?
I just like casual, like wearing a hoodie with sweatpants. Yeah. I feel like it's like really comfortable.
Yeah, the fall clothes. Fall clothes are super cute. A lot of 90s wear, so I think that's coming back into fashion. Like all the baggy clothing and a lot of 90s streetwear. So I think we're revisiting all that type of stuff.
Have you ever faced peer pressure when it comes to like following these things?
Like I don't really feel super affected, but I also do feel pressure to not be like too different because I feel like I'll be like judged, you know?
I feel like there definitely is a pressure at school to wear makeup. Like I think we see more people wearing it than not.
Yeah.
There's definitely like more popular brands as well.
Definitely. And I think social media also makes you want to do it just because I feel like there's a lot of different skin textures and stuff, so you want to like cover up or you want to like have like a really like flawless face.
I think it affects a lot of people, like peer pressure or, you know, like spending a lot of money on fashion, which is a very big complication these days. A lot of teenagers, they think that spending a lot of money is what is going to make them look good.
It's definitely hard to be a teenager now because I feel like you're spending a lot of money. Like even just to like, I guess, fit in for some people or like in general, it's hard to like keep up with the amount of inflation that's going on, especially in Vancouver. Everything is really expensive.
I got 4 jobs lined up, so this summer, so that definitely helped.
I think that also like sharing our stuff, like me and my friend Hallie here, we share everything, so
or like you
sharing
split.
prices.
Like if you want something, just we'll do half-half.
Or like you can borrow and like you know everyone borrows clothes and stuff. So I feel like that's easy. Yeah, sharing is caring, especially with like friends.
Yeah.
Well, it's another gold medal for BC in the Paris Paralympics, making it Canada's 2nd gold medal.
Cody Forney's out in front. Cody Forney, the youngster of the group at 35, will take the Paralympic title.
Victoria's Cody Forney won the men's T51 200-meter race. It's the fastest time of his career at 37.64 seconds. These are his first ever Paralympic Games. And his win, of course, adds to Team Canada's medal tally. So BC's Nicholas Bennett swam to gold on Monday. Meanwhile, 18-year-old Katie Cosgrove won bronze in the S10 100-meter butterfly. It's also her first career Paralympic medal. And take a look at this live shot of the Burrard Inlet facing the North Shore. Darius Madavi will have your full forecast next.
Hey, I'm Rohith Joseph. Vibin' is the new show all about discovering great new songs and fresh artists from across BC and beyond. Stream Vibin' on CBC Listen.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
British Columbia is heading to the polls on October 19th. Keep informed with CBC News for in-depth analysis, interviews, and breaking news that can help you decide the province's future. Download and tune in with the free CBC News app and online at cbcnews.ca. For news you can trust, stay connected wherever you are with the CBC News app.
The weather update is brought to you by Direct Buy Furnace. To cool and clean the air in your home, call Direct Buy Furnace. Installing trained, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
And Darius Mahdavi joins us now with a look at your BC-wide weather forecast. Darius, is the sunshine going to stay?
Yes, it is. Lots of sunshine. It's setting a little bit earlier than I would like personally, but it is here to stay for at least through the end of this week, pretty much across the province, except maybe a little bit in the northwest. You can see that ridge of high pressure building in and staying in over the next few days, again, except a little bit of moisture and cloud probably feeding up into the northwest over the next few days. Here in the south coast, expect, again, a little bit of cloud building up at times in the Strait tomorrow morning, but then clearing out throughout the day and not likely to return really throughout the rest of this week. If we zoom out to the rest of BC, it's a fairly similar story. Again, a bit of cloud building into the northwest, at times breaking into other parts of the north, but throughout southern BC, very little cloud coming in at all until the very end of this week. Maybe a little bit of a, probably a mostly sunny forecast, maybe a mix of sun and clouds throughout southern BC on Friday. But for now, pretty much let's just stick with saying it's sunshine because that cloud is very much uncertain at this point. In terms of temperatures across the province, pretty much bang on seasonal. Many places today, a few places like in Golden sticking in the low 20s for now, but will likely continue to build over the next few days. Pretty much, again, across the province. It's going to be in the 30s once again for most of southern BC, except for places that are right on the coast. Even inland Vancouver Island, Port Alberni, going to hit 30, 32 degrees over the next few days. In terms of conditions across the province tomorrow, things are looking very clear. Not expecting much smoke or haze across the province. Again, staying very localized, which means you're going to get all that sunshine that I promised pretty much over the next few days. Now, smoke forecasts can change pretty quickly, but generally speaking, we're not going to see a drastic shift to the whole province being covered in haze, so expect to see lots of sunshine. And if you do get cloud, it'll probably clear out throughout the day to make for a sunny evening. Should be a nice sunset across the board. Here in Vancouver, 5-day forecast, expect, once again, lots of sunshine. That humidity will remain quite high over the next few days. Tomorrow especially, going to feel quite muggy, I would say, especially if you combine that with the inland temperature. But again, it's a sunny forecast. We can't complain. If you're feeling humid, do what I do. I'm going to go for a dip in the ocean.
I was just going to say, you can go to the beach, go to the park, still got time.
Oh, yes.
All right, thanks, Darius.
Thanks, Baneet.
That is your late news for this Tuesday. Thanks so much for watching. For news at any hour, you can always go to our website at cbc.ca/BC. Good night.